Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us here at the ESL One Cologne offline qualifier. We're holding it from here in Katowice, of course, one of the best places to be for some good esports action. Well, if you just missed it, of course, we did see Optic make it to the major. It was a close one on Cash, but they managed to edge Hellraisers out in that one. However, Hellraisers aren't done yet. They still have another chance later today to make it through. We may see Optic be the only North American team go through to the major, or we may not if this next team has something to say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together from North America. It's Cloud9. All smiles for them right now, but every game for Cloud9 so far, they've been forced to mount a comeback, and against Mousesports, it just wasn't enough. But of course, in their last game, it was an impressive performance against Tyloo. That was an impressive display of mental fortitude, the likes of which we rarely see, and it was really on the back of Skadoodle there as well. Massive lift from him in the second half on Cash against Tyloo. He went 20 for 4. The double AWP setup was instrumental for Cloud9 bringing things back and actually taking the game. And their opponents, someone that haven't played for quite some time. In fact, it was a Global Esports Cup, and it was actually EnVyUS' win 2-0. Let's welcome them now to the stage. Bring on Envy! Are they hot? Or are they cold? That's the big question that people still have about these guys. They're not quite sure exactly what Envy they're going to see on a certain time, but they made a statement yesterday as well. A 16-4 crushing victory over Splice, showing us that they at least can nail those fundamentals down, but this is going to be a challenge for them. Now, they did have the better of Cloud9, of course, back at the Global Esports Cup, but that was before Cloud9 added Slemmy to the roster. Things have changed, mentalities have changed, and we know that EnVyUS is in a rebuilding period. They're trying out some new things, and let's see if any of the tools in the kit is going to be enough to deal with Cloud9. Alex, this is going to be a blockbuster, mate. These two teams have been raring to go, so let's not waste too much more time.
That's exactly the plan. Thanks very much, Mitch. We're going to try and keep this one nice and succinct. We're going to start actually with the veto, and that's just so that we can make sure we get things underway ASAP. Of course, introducing the people joining me at the desk, we have Pansy and Vendetta. So, weird way to start it, but let's try it out. Let's go with the maps first of all. Let's kind of recap what we've seen and what we're expecting to see as well. Let's start with you actually, Lauren. Regarding the veto, what are your initial thoughts?
I'm actually not sure. The thing is that if you look at Envy classically, they have favorable maps, but again, it's hard to just guess what Envy we're going to see today, so I look at Cloud9 instead. And their comfort picks work pretty well for Envy as well, so it's a strange world where you think that Envy, in theory on paper, should be doing much better here, but then I still see Cloud9 being able to put up some contest. But I'm looking at things like Cash being a possibility, but then Envy playing Cash against Cloud9, probably going to be banned out, I assume. I don't know, I find it very difficult to actually lock this down.
The big problem with understanding where Cloud9 wants to go is the fact that, well, they pretty much banned out every single map except for Cobblestone up till this point in their best of 3. So they've been willy-nilly all over the place as to what they feel fine playing or what they haven't wanted to play. So it seems like they're banning depending on what kind of an opponent they're playing. So going after the strongest map for Envy, potentially Cobblestone actually, so we might see that being removed, even though it's a strong map for Cloud9, being a possibility. On Envy's side, they are not going to play Train.
Well, I mean, that's an easy decision for them to make, especially when you ban down 2-1. I thought we were going to be looking at that veto. Maybe I can summon it now if I really try hard enough.
Believe in it, Alex.
I can believe that we're not going to see Train.
You need a wizard wand?
Is this it? Do I have to just kind of do this? Wait, ready?
Leviosa.
There we go. No, none of it. Okay, we tried. Screw your pen. Let's then, I guess, the point I wanted to make and actually open with, which was conveniently on screen there, was actually the proficiency of Apex. It's been so long since we've been able to, sing his praises in a consistent manner.
Well, I think everyone comes back to the point, though, is when Apex is hot, you see Envy playing well. He's always that factor that just turns things around for them. You can't say the same for others now these days. Maybe, you can see a good game from Happy or a good game from Kenny, but it's not never necessarily enough to pull them into the victory position. But Apex seems to provide more than just kind of fragging power. It really does equate to round wins. So hence why everyone says when Apex is on, you start seeing big wins coming along with them.
I mean, actually, fortunately, we have the maps now, so I'll let Halvor do kind of dissect what we are seeing. No Dust 2, very quick from C9.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We saw Envy what they did to Immortals on Dust 2, so definitely something that they don't want to go up against. They didn't take that chance versus Mousesports either, so that's... it seems like they're basically going against the strengths of their opponent. Although the Mirage pick is, I guess, it's not necessarily a go-to pick for Envy. They haven't been the same kind of team that we've known them for on that map for quite some time. Train and Overpass being gone for Envy, that's, well, somewhat by the book. Train especially, and Nuke, I don't think any of these teams actually play it, and I don't think anyone would kind of risk the chance of letting this be the deciding map for a map of this,
Cobblestone number 9.
It's the 9th time already.
Yeah, we like our Cobblestone here at the offline qualifier. I mean, we know C9 are comfortable on it. Envy played it versus Splice. They've already dispatched of a North American adversary on this map as well. Lauren, you've got something that's...
I wasn't that sold by Cloud9's performance on this map, to be honest. They were fine, but then you saw some really glaring issues. Slemmy having big performances really paid off well into it, but again, Slemmy hasn't always been the big performer. Slemmy has been struggling to find consistency to be a big performer. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a tough one for them to actually get consistency on. Again, the kind of coordination between him and Skadoodle has to come into place. I'm surprised it wasn't Cash, if I'm honest. I thought maybe Cloud9 would opt towards that, but then again, they haven't been the most robust on that either.
No, but yeah, I completely agree with you. I was expecting Cash instead of Cobblestone if it came down to it, simply because, well, I guess Cloud9 have seen 2 matches of Envy on Cobblestone now. One pretty good edition of it versus Splice, and then one not so great versus Gambit. So maybe they've been looking at demos and taking that into account when they opted to go for this map.
But a victory versus Tyloo. I mean, surely on Cash, you know, they
for Cloud9, absolutely.
They sit there and go instant pick.
But Tyloo's T-side was also appalling, so read into that what you want. It's hard to kind of equate that to a really solid performance from Cloud9. You'd argue that they're actually very good in certain aspects, things such as, you know, Skadoodle starting to find some form there. Actually, for me, it was Shroud, who had a really big game during that one map, which is a bit of a rarity in these events. Normally, he's a bit middle of the table, so if he actually finds a little bit of something here, that's going to be impressive, and nothing as well. Other than that, Stewie and Slemmy need to step up here to support it, because Envy are still big dogs. Even just removing their current form aside, they're still probably the toughest competitor to here, at least today, I feel, for this matchup.
For me, it's going to have to be, well, Slemmy needs to have a similar performance to what he had versus Empire in the first game, because if Skadoodle is a no-show, then Slemmy's literally the only thing that's hanging, you know, holding that ace bomb site down.
Correct.
We've seen one good game from Skadoodle so far, where he's been good throughout the game pretty much, or kind of Satan to put Cloud9 on his back. He needs to be in this game early on. He can't really let Envy roam around for an entire half before they actually get into the game.
And I mean, yeah, this has been a running trend for Cloud9. In fact, it actually came out of Jordan's mouth in the interview. He just says we seem to thrive under pressure, and they believe they can they create that pressure themselves by struggling in first halves. They did win the knife, so they have their choice of side, and maybe that's where Cloud9 can break this habit, going up against a new look Envy. The discussion surrounding the French side is that, as Mitch so eloquently put, they're in a rebuilding period. They've given leadership over to Devil, the new addition that has been under fire recently from analyst desks all over the world. He's going to prove us wrong and try and get his team to the major now. Predictions, though, from the desk. Do you believe in North America, or do you believe Envy are going to make another major?
I honestly look at Cloud9 and I see so many win conditions they need to hit, which comes down to player performance, but I'm going to back them in this one.
You are.
And it goes against logic, but also I think Envy's performance has been so up and down, and it's so hard to pinpoint where they're currently at. Any other day of the week, if they're both performing to what you'd expect of a standard, it'd be Envy 90% of the time, but I've not been convinced so far.
One of these teams is going to be picking up a spot at the major. Halvor, what are your predictions?
I'm going to go with Envy for this one. They looked like they righted a lot of their wrongs on Cobblestone versus Splice. Obviously, completely different opponent going up against Cloud9 here. A much better Cobble team as well. So it's going to be a tough fight, but I still believe that Envy should be at the major in Cologne.
It really does just come down to, well, a whole lot of individual performance on Cloud9, as we've already beautifully highlighted. Slemmy, of course, new addition, has got a whole lot to prove here. Yes, he may be the brain behind it all, but there has to be some brawn to back it up, and Cobblestone is going to be that battleground amongst these two teams. One map is all it will take, and I do want to just quickly ask for a player to watch. You've already hinted at yours with Skadoodle, but is there another name that for the Envy side that we haven't mentioned?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny, because if these two teams ever played at any other time, we would have said Skadoodle versus Kenny S.
We would have, but where has that name been?
Where's both names been? So I guess this could be, a battle of forgotten operas, or I guess a battle of slumping operas. and whoever shines the brightest.
You know what? I'm going to go for, out of the two teams, nothing in Apex. If one of those two really starts shining, you're going to see a really competitive game out of these two. And I hope both of them find Fawn here, but it's a rarity to see both of those step up at the same time.
And so it is time. You can see it as they do break their huddle. It's time to introduce another big game. Can Envy, wow, Raw. It's rare to see such passion from Envy, a team that usually turn up.
Can I change my mind?
Suddenly, Lauren is a little bit more convinced. This looks like the beast that did, of course, pick up the win in Cluj-Napoca. Can they return to try and battle to reclaim their throne, or will Cloud9 join Optic, who just recently secured their spot at the LANXESS Arena next month? We're going to jump into this one. It will be another battle of Brains versus Brawn, C9 versus Envy, and your casters are ready for this one. Let's jump in.
Thought we were doing good avoiding Cbble for most of today. Then we get to this match, though. And it is indeed going to be Cloud9 versus EnVyUS on Cobblestone. Matters, what are your thoughts going into this matchup?
My thoughts are kind of scatterbrained, purely off the basis of kind of what they touched on the desk as well. EnVyUS, they've been up and down. They actually lost, was it 16-10 to Gambit, I believe, earlier in the tournament on Cobblestone. Gambit are no mugs. Mo played fantastically well with York, but you'd still expect them to beat Gambit on their day. We also saw on the first day, 16-6 victory on Dust 2. They've been up and down, up and down. It's so hard to call for me. I'd edge with EnVyUS purely off the basis of their individual talent and what we've seen in the past. But Kenny S has been eerily absent. He's actually been one of the most disappointing players for me in the entire tournament. We've not really seen the Kenny S that we came to know and love. And this is the map where he needs to step up. But of course, historically, this is also a map that's been devastating for him. Some of his worst performances have been on Cobblestone, on the biggest stage of all.
Well, we're getting into things now, and I think one of those poor performances, ironically enough, was at Cologne last year.
Correct, yep.
So we'll see if it decides if he gets to return to that hallowed venue, at least here in this matchup. Keep in mind, guys, the loser of this match is not out of the running just yet, but they will have to play one more match against one of our teams that won the first 3 matchups to decide who is going to get those 3 final spots. With things getting started, EnVyUS on the T side, Cloud on the CT side. EnVyUS off to a very slow start with the default lineup. Still no decision as to where they want to go for as of yet.
Standard slow play from EnVyUS, not wanting to give anything away. 2 flashes in the smoke in the hands of Apex, who has been the standout player by far, especially on this map. He is very good with the entry frags out of the B platform and drop zones, so certainly one play to watch out for. But it seems like this is going to be an A-centric push. 50 seconds left. Cloud9 just holding position. They've got this crossfire down on mid. It's going to be both nothing and his partner in crime of Slemmy. But it's going to be the A-long push now.
And a lot of focus coming out towards ramp right now, not really looking out towards A-long, which could prove dangerous. Skadoodle is going to be blind, but nothing. Holds the line first. There's Skadoodle popping back out there, finds his second kill. NBK with 2 quick pickups as well, trying to bring this back under control for his own squad. But still, now they need to get that bomb back in hand. And Happy moving in on the flank. He's not going to be able to find anything at all, so it all goes to NBK. He's going to have to ace here if he wants to win this for his team. Going for the fake plant first, trying to bait Shroud out in the peak, but it's not really going to work. So he's committing himself to that, making sure at the very least they can escape with the plant for the 3rd round. But as he leaps out, he's immediately destroyed by Stewie, and it's Cloud9 that'll pick up the pistol.
Solid retake work from Cloud9, but also on the cross from the doors. Very well played. It looked pretty bad, actually, when nothing went down in the mid. They had that crossfire I was talking about with nothing in Slemmy. That's going to collapse, but nice retake. EnVyUS, however, with the bomb plant. EnVyUS Evolved have almost definitely gone for a force buy here. I'm curious if we are going to see that again. It's going to be Deagles leaving themselves a little bit of wiggle room in the future as well. So not fully committing into this one, but they do have enough pistols to make this interesting. Cloud9, on the other hand, only have 1 SMG. The rest of them running with assault rifles.
EnVyUS moving their way out over towards the B bomb site, and it's going to be a quick play this time, moving over towards it, slowing down a little bit once they do approach the site area. Just trying to make sure that Cloud9 aren't going to be boosting up against them or anything, but see Stewie getting ready to toss some nades out and just trying to hold the close angles here at the get-go of things. Cloud9 do still have a good hold. Look at Apex, though. Moves up very, very quickly. Also not making a single sound so far here. They're poised. They're ready to go into this site, but now they've got to pick up the kills on the way in.
This is something that you're going to see over and over again, a reoccurring theme, is Apex trying to go through first. That flashbang is absolutely on point. The problem is, though, that Stewie K was coming up through the doors, and now nothing has been able to recover after the snowstorm descended in his eyes, and Stewie is going to be there with the FAMAS. It's looking great, but MBK, again, in a similar position to last time, is the remaining EnVyUS member up against an army of Cloud9. He has the Deagle, but he doesn't have the bomb. So his days are numbered, Blue, I have to feel.
He'll be looking to recover that now, but maybe finding some more pot shots to be seen as of yet here. Sitting back. He's found one takedown, but nobody from Cloud9 is giving him anything at all. They know they've got that bomb. They know he's going to be the one to push, so there's no reason for Cloud9 to go out into the open just as NBK goes for the peek. It'll be Shroud. Pops back out and takes him down. NBK not going to be able to find any more kills there, and Cloud9 find the second.
EnVyUS looking like they're going to go for a force again, or at least a half buy. It puts Kenny down to 1.5k, and the reason why I'm a little bit surprised by that is because typically he would want to be biting a bullet and just saying, nope, I don't want to buy anything on that AWP as soon as possible. Maybe this is factoring into his lack of confidence with the AWP right now, that he isn't just saving, he isn't just allowing those funds to build up for the AWP. Interesting. Regardless though, the pistols and the Kevlar, 3 grenades, and it's going to be a fast B play, but actually they slowed down. That allows the grenade to bounce right under their feet and do significant damage. It's Stewie 2K, close range, gets flashbanged. Did a lot of damage, but will fall down. 1-for-1 trade.
Shroud looking for more as well, but he's looking the wrong direction, and that's going to leave him in the open. Kenny finding a kill. Nothing, a little bit unstable with the aim there too, as Happy finds a frag over towards Nothing. So in the 3-on-2, Skadoodle moving in very quickly to try to take back some control here towards the tree, but he's got to be careful of Happy still positioned inside of the drop room, as we can see some more damage going on to NBK as well. But Happy, nicely done, grabs the head off of Slemmy. It's all in Skadoodle's hands now, and he's going to be pushed by Kenny to give EnVyUS their first round of the match.
Well, there you go. You can pretty much scrap everything I just said because they won the round. So now Kenny can get an AWP if you want to trade out with assault rifles instead, realizing Cloud9's economy in no position to have a solid buy. So what's the point in having an AWP and potentially giving that across to the CTs? We'll be keeping it with the assault rifle. So good bounce back from EnVyUS. Important to get themselves on the board, get some confidence building, but also on the other side of the coin to break Cloud9's economy and force them onto pistols.
Nice boost here to try to catch anything countered out. But there we go, Shroud.
Hello.
Popping right up through Broken Wall, destroys Kenny. Now they've got the edge in this matchup, at least for now, but still fairly lackluster buy from C9 is still going to be their ultimate problem when EnVyUS go for the take.
That's one hell of a way to kick the round off, though, from Shroud, who is another player that has looked a bit suspect at times in this tournament, not necessarily performing to the level you expect. I think Mirage had 5 kills at halftime on the CT side. But good beginning from Cloud9. EnVyUS will not be pulling the trigger just yet. Cloud9 stacking 3 players on B. They have a 4th, which is Shroud's Deagle. It's just behind them around Connector. And of course, Slammy, they're the last remaining player over on A side. But again, EnVyUS are not giving anything away just yet. They still have a lot of grenades to play off. Finally going to take some control over drop zone and push off the B platform.
Happy looking for the way in along with NBK here too. Playing dualies at this point, but as they move out, Skadoodle's going to be blind, taking him down. Happy chaining together a second one here as well, but Nothing is able to pick up an additional kill for this team, and he gets a second there. Finally going to be decked down by Devil as he overpeaks just a little bit, extends his range, but we'll be in a 2-on-2. And not only will this be the 2-on-2, but Apex will be extremely low, down at 16 HP. They'll have to be very, very careful about this play.
No grenades though for Cloud9, so it's looking like it could be possible, but it's going to be very difficult. That's one way of alleviating the pressure. It's all on Shroud. He started this round off. Can he finish it as well for Cloud9? Devil's playing the time perfectly. He knows that Shroud is very low. He's actually got his Glock out. He could have actually reloaded his weapon this time, but it doesn't matter. I was very nervous for EnVyUS. Cloud9, though, all things considered, that is a pretty sick eco. Full-on pistols, they take 4 players down, and they've bolstered their economy so they can get a decent buy here. There is a pause, and I assume this is a technical issue.
Yeah, it will be a technical pause now. So players, something's gone wrong, and also very early on for this to be tactical.
Yeah, that would be pretty hard tilt if you're calling that 5th round. Like, we've got to sort these tactics out, boys.
Much bigger issues than what's going on in game if you're calling a tactical pause this early. But tied up at 2-2, and like you said, with Cloud9 doing as much damage as they did on that minimal of a buy, it's going to keep the money very much so in the control of Cloud9 in the event when they do pick up a win or 2 here.
Now looking at the economy, Stewie's on 3.9k, obviously not great, but then you got Nothing and Shroud both on 5.6, Slemmy's on 4.9, Skadoodle's on 4.1. So the choice now for Cloud9 really is between full buying or getting a half buy of like pistols and Kevlar, something like that. What do you go for here, Blue, personally? I feel Cloud9 may pull the trigger and go for a full buy.
It's a bit rough to see it, but I do have to agree with you when I say they would go for. There's really only one player sitting below the brink, and that would be Stewie. They should be able to make up for that. Skadoodle sitting on 4.1. If they want to give him an up, they could absolutely donate him a gun over from either Shroud or nothing, and then from there, the buy is still going to be extremely full at this point. Really, 1 or 2 players are going to be slouching, so no reason to not go for it at this point in time, especially when the scoreline is so close. And after they just had an eco round like that, if they can actually win out that round, then they can probably try to break Envy pretty quickly.
Plus with Stewie, even with 3.9k, he's the kind of player likes to be up in the face, likes to, well, it's always the meme, right? Pushes through smoke. So Mag 7 in his hands actually would be very powerful as well. He can run with that weapon, guaranteed. As you say, they could drop the Skadoodle. Again, the players not allowed to discuss things while this pause is going on. That's why they're all sat there in silence, just staring at the computers, making sure they're not looking at each other.
Issues do tend to happen very early in the match, though, right? When
Indeed.
there isn't all that much going on, so. For the guys on Cloud9, though, big player, thankfully he's doing so far, but I was a bit worried for Stewie coming into this match because yesterday, at least for the first half when those guys were playing, they did seem a little bit like he was, he had quieted off a bit over the past couple of months, and we were just not seeing all that much from him, but he did recover nicely in the second half, and at least with starting off here, he's currently top ranking for his team and impacting the way that he needs to, but of course, we've only seen a few very select rounds, so we'll have to see how that changes as we get deeper and deeper into the half.
And everything you just said for Stewie also applies to nothing. I feel that when he was taking over the leadership role, his performance certainly dipped as he was taking more on his plate. And now that he's able to just go back to the fragging, and he says he's the right-hand man of the caller, just allows him to kind of ease back a little bit and do what he does best, and that's kill people. So he's on 5 for 3. Again, you can't analyze too much out of this game. We've only had 4 rounds thus far. The pistol round and the next one was won by Cloud9. The last 2 have gone to EnVyUS. It wasn't eco in the previous round. 4 kills came down, very close, but Devil clutched it out. And now we are just waiting.
For EnVyUS, though, I mean, if we look at their what's given them their sort of victories over the past couple of days, it's been Apex.
Yep.
Apex. It's been the Apex show for
definitely
quite a few of these matches now. So really need to see 1 or 2 more of these guys also step up to the plate and bring a good performance, because right now he, to a pretty large degree, has been kind of bringing his team to the brink here and making sure that they don't fall through the cracks now and lose matches, which they have no business losing.
So, if you guys haven't been watching the entire tournament, you're curious how these 2 teams got here, this is the 2-1 matchup. The winner of this goes through to Cologne. The loser has 1 more chance. They will be playing later on this evening. EnVyUS won their first game against the Mortals on Dust 2 16-6, and then lost against Gambit 16-10 on Cobblestone, and then beat Splice 16-4. It was a very one-sided matchup on Cobblestone last night. Cloud9 also started with a win against Empire. That was on Cobblestone 16-12. They lost to Mouse Sports and Mirage 16-12 as well, and they beat Tyloo in a nail-biter of a match last night on Cash 16-13. So what I will say about Cloud9 is matches have all been really, really close, even when they've won, whereas when EnVyUS have won, they've pretty much just taken their adversaries to pieces.
Granted, they did go up against Splice yesterday, so
that's true.
Getting a bit of an easier match there. But even in that match, I don't think the scoreline tells necessarily the whole tale, because there was quite a few rounds there where it was coming down to 1v1s, and I mean, a lot like Splice's match today, just struggling to actually clutch out those rounds led them to an issue. But to be noted, too, that the loser of this game is also not going to be out of contention just as yet. They go down, and they get to play 1 more game. They will not be able to play against anybody, if I remember the rules correctly, they're not going to be able to play against anybody that they've already played, which means they won't. Which means for EnVyUS's case, they won't go up against Gambit, assuming Gambit lose their next match. And for Cloud9 as well, I don't think they can play against Tyloo, since they'll be one of the other teams still in the pool if they lose this one here and get knocked down.
But of course, that all depends on the other results as well that will be coming up after this matchup. So there's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts that we're going to have to find out as we progress through. The issue, for those of you wondering, is a sound problem. So we have an admin on the stage trying to resolve that issue. Once we get any more information, we'll pass it on straight to you. You're not missing anything, don't worry. But for this game, your prediction, kind of asked you at the start. It's really tough, right?
It is a really tough call to make, but I kind of want to agree with Pansy and say that Cloud9 have a better edge to take this one. Just purely off of the individual performances we've seen here today, I feel like EnVyUS right now are in like too emotional of a position to where if Cloud9, now again this is conditional on Cloud9 actually getting an edge over them to a very large degree at some point during this or the next half, but if they can start that snowball rolling, I feel like EnVyUS are in a really delicate spot right now to where if Cloud9 start to do well and EnVyUS just can't recover, then they're never really going to be able to recenter themselves back together.
I can definitely see where you're coming from. If this had been a few months ago, I would be like 100% EnVyUS, right? They're going to take this. It's going to be a fairly one-sided matchup. But Cloud9 have shown great grit, actually. As Mitch said on the stage, there has been a lot of comebacks for Cloud9. They haven't been out in the lead by 5 or 6 rounds and just closed out matches. They've been up against it and had to bite back and fight back from really poor positions. So even in this match, if EnVyUS take a lead, it only takes them to make a couple derpy force buys and suddenly Cloud9 are right back in it again. We know they can definitely get that momentum back in their way, and Nothing said this on the stage. He said it always seems like we wait until we're in a really bad spot or we really play under the level that we should be until it's too late, and that often loses us games. They know it themselves.
One guy over here from Cloud9 that, again, I really want to see how he performs in this matchup is Cbble, because the match yesterday, that was summer 2015 Cbble. That was the god Cbble that we were used to seeing last summer, and then disappeared when the winds changed and it got a bit colder. So as the temperature heats up, it seems he does too.
I was on the desk for that game, and I think one of my win parameters for Cloud9 was Cbble has to perform, and even then it's going to be close. And in the first half, he was totally absent on Cash. On CT side, I think he dropped 20 kills.
Yeah.
So, absolutely agree with you. I think, for me, the most interesting 2 players to watch out for and how they're going to battle against one another is Cbble and kennyS. Can kennyS finally have a performance worthy of the hype that's been surrounded him since he burst on the scene? Because so far in the tournament, he just hasn't. He's missed a lot of shots that he'd normally make. He's been really struggling, honestly. I think we're nearly there, guys, with resuming this game.
Both teams are ready. And it looks like we should be getting unmuted and unpaused in just a second, so we'll get back into things here. But in order for Cbble to get that sort of good performance going, of course, we are going to still have to see the economy be in a good place from Cloud9, and that is something that oftentimes is in contention, especially because you can get away with a lot on this map with very minimal force buys. So oftentimes you'll see the CTs with a lot less money overall. But anyway, guys, we are going back into things now. Apologies for the delay, just a quick technical pause, and now we get back into the match. 2-2 if you are just joining us.
And here we go again, EnVyUS. They have more than enough funds to go for AK-47s, but they're going for this triple MAC-10. Last time it was a quad MAC-10. This time it's triple MAC-10 with MP7s. There is no head armor on Cloud9, and they've gone for a force buy. This could be a massacre, but Cloud9 is standing tall. 2 kills come out, and again we may see this SMG buy completely rinsed off the map. Happy is that, but kennyS has been dropped. Cloud9 in a 4-on-2 in their advantage.
And kennyS is unfortunately not even going to be able to make that cross, since unfortunately Devil unloaded on him there when he went past the broken wall. A bit of a panic spray. And for the final 2, no control has been gained at this point. Happy, he's got a molly to use to try and toss that out in the back, but what effect that will have, we'll need to see with NBK going for his own peak here. Happy still trying to move his way out, but when NBK tries to push over there further out in the platform, he's going to be dead meat. Stewie taking him down. Now they know exactly where Happy's hiding out at, so Stewie's going to find the final kills. Well, he grabs 3 on this one, and Cloud9 take the lead.
I think maybe the call behind this MAC-10 strat is you effectively get like 2 buy rounds to the price of 1, and they need a Cloud9's economy. If they force sport would be poor, they would have a lack of head armor, have a lack of utility, and then if they eco, they're going to be able to farm up the kills anyway. So it's this sort of high risk, high reward play. But then if you end up losing the round anyway, well, you've got AKs in the north to back it up. So I'm definitely starting to see the logic behind this buy from EnVyUS. It didn't work that time. Cloud9 now have bolstered their economy and they're looking good. There's Cbble.
Chiming in with his first pickup, but some damage does go back onto Cloud9. And in fact, a kill as well will be had. Nothing. Finding one in his own, but Cbble, finds a very great flick onto kennyS to take him down. Didn't even look like he hit anything there, just whips a kill out from nowhere, and all of a sudden it's the same situation as we had in the last round, where EnVyUS are left with really nothing left to take a site with, and they've got to try to battle it back. No positions, not really a whole lot of utility, and no kills either.
And it's patchy aggression as well from EnVyUS, where they're just putting a player here, a player there, but they're leaving themselves in the firing line of an AWP, which is never what you want to be doing. You just give 3 kills away, and then, as you mentioned, you're in a 4v2, and everything is looking doomed. We know MBK has it within him to pull off miracles, but I think this is a bridge too far. He's got the bomb, he's got 45 seconds, and a smoke, so maybe he can smoke the doors and try and get a cheeky plant down, but so we get the spray. You can't transfer it to the second player as expected. Cloud9, after that start, we'll take a 4-2 lead. Good work from Cbble.
So Cloud9, like I said before during the pause, if they get the ball rolling, I feel like this is where EnVyUS will start to struggle a little bit, since the ugly little thought will go into the back of their mind that Cloud9 are going to beat them and qualify ahead of them there. An old rivalry reborn from last summer.
EnVyUS now, P250s, nothing else. So Cloud9 have a real chance to start to stamp their authority on this map and propel themselves towards the Cologne Major. Slemmy on long, puts down MBK with ease. EnVyUS is going to stack together and maybe try and flash, smoke on doors, something like that, and then just charge through together. Maybe, you know, Cbble has the AWP on the top of the side. If he misses a couple of shots, he could get swarmed, but he does have some backup in Slemmy. And there is Slemmy with the spray down. 2 kills coming in quick succession, can't get the third, but he's done his job. EnVyUS have been completely thwarted.
Happy though, he's going to grab a kill on his Slemmy. Shroud with a quick recovery after being opened up on there. Takes down Apex, and for Happy, nothing really that he can do here. He's going to try to push his way inside of A main doors, but they know he's coming, so nothing, just sprays wildly and eventually grabs the kill. Guaranteeing another round for the guys from C9, but this also transitions us into another buy round from EnVyUS. Kenny, looks like they are going to try to get him with something here, but not going to be able to afford it, so we're just going to be working with a Tech 9 this time.
0 AWPs for Kenny so far. None. When he's had opportunities, hasn't gone for one. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Is this something in the back of his mind? Is that the confidence dropping a little bit with the AWP? Who knows? What we do know is that EnVyUS are setting up, for at least initially, for a fast play. And this is a boost that Kenny S has been doing a lot of. And now this time, Stewie2K flies across. It's going to be to his death. Nothing gets caught with the grenade out. 2 big kills for EnVyUS, but they have to convert from this.
And BK up to 3 now as he moves over towards the platform and takes down Shroud. Skadoodle and Slemmy, they're not even in this site. So at this point in time, in all honesty, they're just going to have to go for the save. And I believe EnVyUS know this, because you can already see Devil sitting back on the stairs leading into the B hallways. And he's just waiting now for these guys to work their way back out. Happy tries hunting down Skadoodle, as is Devil onto Slemmy, but neither of them are able to succeed. So 2 kills at the very least coming up for C9. This round, however, will 100% be going into the hands of EnVyUS.
EnVyUS can't afford to throw any more weapons away. They have 2 players on $0, 1 on 100. Fair enough, they're going to get a nice boost of economy coming through, but if you lose another weapon or 2 and Cloud9 retain theirs, you've kind of thrown away an opportunity for me. To just push up long on the T side. As you said though, Bully, this round has gone the way of EnVyUS. There's no way they lose from this point. Oh, Skadoodle's taking another weapon. This is getting way too costly now for EnVyUS. That's 2 kills that have gone down to Cloud9 after the plant. I think EnVyUS realizing, like, okay, screw this. Let's just save these 2 weapons. Let's make sure we at least have something to buy next round.
So now they do make the choice to save, but it comes in very, very late. So Cloud9 getting some serious damage out there. And they, of course, are still in a great position to go for the rebuy. Slemy's going to be a little bit low, but, well, he's already got the M4 in hand, so that's not a big problem at all. Everybody else gets their big guns back into play, and Skadoodle still has the op to work with here. So you can see this play, too, from NBK. Denies Stewie in his attempt to get position there on the run boost. He got himself out towards Broken Wall very, very quickly, and then from that point forward just dominates the B bomb site. So a bit of a misplay there from Cloud9 does end up costing them the round.
The thing is, a misplay from EnVyUS cost them an extra weapon. Devil only has a Tech 9 as opposed to an AK-47, and that could end up hurting them because AK obviously a massive upgrade. I was curious to see if Kenny S would go for the AWP before we keep saying these assault rifle buys. He has indeed gone for it, so I'm glad to see that we're going to potentially have that to look forward to. Cloud9 are going to have to deal with Apex again, who has just walked his way into drop zone. But Cloud9 consistently playing more of a deep defense on drop zone. They're not really even trying to contest that. Whereas on the other side, EnVyUS will contest this. They like to play someone in drop zone itself, hold the close angle.
NBK again back over here to the edge of the platform, trying to earn someone out of the chicken coop, but there's no presence there. And in fact, he himself is going to get pushed out of cover now. 69 HP, and Stewie finds a headshot as he tries to retreat back into the cubby. Kenny S moving in, looking for the trade right now, and he's going to be able to grab it, but he doesn't know nothing is up on top of the boost tree. Takes down Kenny S, and again, Cloud9 still holding strong, 40 seconds left. EnVyUS need to start battling for control. That's a messy spray from nothing, though, so Devil is going to be able to get that kill, and Shroud still partially blind when Apex goes for the push, and these 2 players just going to line right up. Apex, an easy cleanup there to get the final 3, and EnVyUS now within 1 round of tying this again.
Beautiful spray control from Apex, again showing why we highlighted him as being one of those players to watch out for. Interesting enough though, up until that round, he only had 1 kill. He's now on 4, 4, and 7. Fair enough, he's got a bunch of assists, but he's been quiet, so that could be the moment now where EnVyUS look to drag this back in their favor. Cloud9 had a decision to make. They could have gone for some kind of a force instead, deciding to play the longer game. Makes sense, they have the advantage in terms of rounds. This is going to put them with 2 HEs, and there's Kenny S ripping off Shroud.
So that'll put a hold on the rest of Cloud9, though, from doing anything else that aggressive. Flashbang comes out, but Kenny hasn't been hit by it at all, so if we do see them starting to try and jump up again, most notably, of course, you can see Stewie is sitting there waiting, then probably will lead to another death, but this is a round where Cloud9, I imagine, aren't really expecting all that much anyway, so if they can hope to find any sort of pickups here, it may be worth going for.
Shroud just chilling on the side, his corpse lounging. JDM would be proud of that. And he's had a chance at another shot. Would have been asking quite a bit. That grenade lands on the head of Stewie. I think nothing ate some damage from it as well, so that is money well spent from EnVyUS. Looking to go back to the other side of the map now and rotate. The fact that Devil's got himself a kill makes it so much easier. M4 in the hands of Skedoodle though, and he has got Kevlar, so it could be a bit of a power play on the tracks for Cloud9. This is where you often, if Skedoodle wants to save, you may see one of these P250s go a little bit more aggressive and look for an exit frag.
But now EnVyUS are done playing around, so time to get the bomb on the floor and end the round, as they know Cloud9 aren't going to be able to put up much of a fight at this point. They have them constricted into the B-bomb site, and it doesn't look like they're going to be leaving it anytime soon. Since Skedoodle has that M4, the save is going to be the main priority here. You can see Devil moving in to try and hunt down some players, but mainly just checking out the site connector right now. The money is still a little bit delicate here at this point for EnVyUS, so moving into hunt may prove to be another risk that they can't really afford to take.
Yeah, I was curious to see if Cloud9 would send somebody with a P250 to hold the close angle on the connecting door, but instead they are going to be trying to bodyguard for Skedoodle, just making sure the M4 survives into round 11. It looks like that's going to be likely. Kenny S misses the shot, but Apex is there, so double ops for EnVyUS. They'll be taking those through into round 11, so 5-5. As a result of Cloud9's save, they're going to have a very healthy buy here. Skedoodle has 8.7k. Drops coming in. 12-5, by the way, for nothing. For 6, pardon me. He's been playing very well so far.
And that was one of the questions, of course. If nothing continues to remain consistent as he has over the past couple of weeks, things will look good. Stewie, since up at the plate, haven't really seen all that much from Skedoodle as of yet, at least with the op, but with another chance to see it here in this round with them picking it back up. And that's for EnVyUS. Back to the default split, 2 and 3. With most of them prioritizing outside. Kenny, though, watching for an aggressive play over towards long, so the guys from C9 need to be a bit careful as someone decides to push out there. He's given up on it, though, and is falling back to the site.
I've seen this boost elsewhere on the B side of the map. That's when Shroud just tapped his way around the corner and wrecked Kenny S with the Deagle. He's deciding not to go for that again. I'm curious as well, if Cloud9 consistently hemorrhage rounds on their CT side, at what point will they start to play a bit more aggressive? Maybe try and get some control over long, get round the back of EnVyUS, play more aggressive through mid, because right now it's been a very passive CT setup from Cloud9. And it started well, but it is starting to falter now. It's 3 rounds in a row to EnVyUS.
As they work their way in, slowly lining up the take towards the B-bomb site, but they're ready to go for it now. Very passive presence from Cloud9, so they're going to get a lot of control very early on for free, but look at this maneuver there coming in. Skedoodle finds a first kill, but he will be quickly traded back out. Stewie, though, who had jumped in the smoke, is going to be able to take down Kenny, finds a second pickup on the Devil. Quickly looking back around to make sure that Happy doesn't kill him on the flank, but he's already found the impact to bring his team right back from the depths into this round. That's going to be a pop flash, though, and Stewie, because he fires off, it gives away his position. NBK finds a second kill from the back. And now it's Slemmy, alone, no position to work with here. He's going to walk right in, but this is going to be so hard to pull back.
2 orbs, though, and actually NBK switched to an AK instead. Slemmy's going to be coming in. They know exactly where he is. First kill goes down. EnVyUS. Are they really going to let this one slip? It's an AWP. If Happy misses the shot, he could very well end up being a dead man. Slemmy has a kit, but no smoke. He's to screen his way across. He's going to be holding down on that defuse. Happy's going to go for the peak, lands the shot. And EnVyUS will take the lead for the first time.
So now with them back in the driver's seat of things, where does Cloud9 go from here? Again, they're in a kind of peculiar buy situation where players, most of them at least, are in good enough situations to go for a buy, but some others are sitting below the marker. And as you can see, this is going to be an extremely strange buy. An upgraded pistol for nothing, a FAMAS on Slemmy. Meanwhile, there's 2 ops on Skadoodle and Stewie, and Shroud's going to go for the shotgun pickup. Like I said before, during the pause, there's a lot you can do with very minimal investments, though, in this game, or in this map, I should say. So we'll see how this ends up working out for these guys.
Certainly agreed. A lot of players will pick up that Max 7 whenever they can. Stewie with 2 massive misses. Is he going to get on third time? No, he's not. That could very well come back to haunt Cloud9. Stewie will be livid with himself if he didn't land at least one of those.
3 what appeared to be very clear chances to try and take him down, but they do manage to survive and keep 5 up and rolling for EnVyUS. Not only this, but they know that op is in the hands of Stewie. If they saw it was him specifically, then they're going to know the double up setup is alive.
Headshot onto Shroud from Apex. That Mac 10 is paying for itself. Stewie misses yet more shots, and I said it could come back to haunt them. It looks very likely, especially in a round where so much economy hinges on this from Cloud9. Nothing in the meanwhile, though. And he's going to put the 5-7 to use. He's down to 5 health, and he's going to play no further part in this round, but Skadoodle still remaining. Not for much longer. Slemmy with the FAMAS has the drop on Happy, picks him up, but again, Slemmy finds himself in a 1 versus 2. And again, it's against an AWP and an AK hybrid.
Nowhere to go. Oh, he's going to be tagged as well.
That's rip. Just back away.
Nade, oh.
Unlucky.
That sucks, Slemmy.
It's unfortunate. He had the right idea. I think he was going to back away out the window and just try and save it. And then got caught on the retreat. But I don't like to single players out and say, like, you're the reason your team lost the round. But Stewie missed, what, 5 AWP shots? None of them were particularly, you know, crazy shots either. They were pretty standard bread and butter shots for an AWP.
So unfortunately, with him not able to find that impact early on, and that force up from C9 ends up going badly. EnVyUS now take complete control of this matchup here. No variations of the strat as of yet, still just lining up a pretty basic type of hit over here towards the V-bomb site. Boosting Kenny, you can see this is good to spot any early aggression from C9. They decided to boost up there and head towards the cubby. But most of their defenses now are focused over here towards the A-bomb site. Slemmy, Skadoodle, Stewie, and Shroud all positioned near the ramp there to watch for an A hit, but probably will not find that anytime soon in this round, with 4 of them lining up to head to the other site.
Flash is connecting, but so is Shroud. Headshot onto Devil. And this is where Cloud9, I thought, may push someone around the back, and they had a second thought. So Slemmy originally was going to charge around the back, started heading back to the CT spawn, then goes back around again, and is that indecision going to cost them? Not really, because the rest of his team's died anyway, so even if he had gone for the instant rotate, it would make no difference. He's going to save the AK instead, playing the economic game. With that now, there's going to be 6 rounds in a row to EnVyUS, and this is the point where I feel Cloud9, do they start to play aggressive? Do they start to try and do something different? We haven't really seen them, with the exception of Stewie getting boosted on the boxes on platform, trying to assume platform control. We haven't seen them go up long and try and get around the back of them either. This slow, very passive approach is simply not working anymore for Cloud9. They need to adapt.
And they need to adapt very quickly here too, because EnVyUS has taken the lead. We've seen in some of our Cbble matches before, the CT side has often been able to take the lead, and with that, just completely take control of the match from there. But this is not one of those matchups. EnVyUS are taking a part of the course from what we expect for this T-sided map that Cobblestone, at least on this iteration, has known to be for now. But the guys on Cloud9, with that save going through, we get ourselves back into another buy for them. Looks like we should see an op investment coming in from Skadoodle, but again, we haven't really seen any flashy stuff from him yet on that. So with that factor missing, and most of EnVyUS's players hitting their shots upon entry, it's starting to look better and better for the Frenchies to earn their spot at the major.
It's one of the best spawns that Skadoodle's had. I thought he may peer through the doors, but throws the smoke down, peers over it, making sure no one gets into long quickly. In the meanwhile, EnVyUS executing fast. When I say executing, is pretty much Happy being the one-man army, the lurker, and he gets picked off, but he's kept 3 players interested, and now EnVyUS will pull the trigger on the opposite side of the map. Slemmy does have backup, however. This is a good call from Cloud9, and with the AWP watching over Slemmy, he is going to be good for a kill. However, KennyS is there, Stewie 2K steps up, lands a kill, and there's Skadoodle as well. beautiful work from Cloud9. Fast reactions to the call.
Good quick kills coming in from him. And just like that, Cloud9 striking again. And they're also back to the double up setup too, which on all honesty, I would be expecting greater things from. But like you mentioned before, there's been a couple times where Stewie has just not been able to connect his shots as well as he should have been. We saw it yesterday when they were playing versus Tyloo, how well he was able to perform on the CT side there inside of A main. That's like his area to work with there, and he's almost unstoppable from that position, but it seems like he's having trouble finding a good position here on this map. Normally, from what I recall, actually, they used to send him out towards long A quite a bit, but it seems they've shifted this now and are trying to play him on platform instead, which, at least for right now, isn't really working out that well versus EnVy.
We do, for the second or third time, Stewie lands the headshot on MBK. The opportunistic shot while on the retreat.
I'll eat my words.
Lovely. Then again, though, it's a great shot. There's an element to luck of it, right?
It's a timing,
That doesn't push at the same time he shoots, because he was flashbangs, and he has missed a lot of sitters, in fairness. But I said it as well, like when are Cloud9 going to start to go back on the platform, when are they going to start to try and aggressively peek back on EnVyUS, and they get the rewards, they reap the rewards for their efforts.
And for EnVyUS here now again, still keeping themselves to a very, very slow style of playground, which has been like this entire half from them so far. Taking it as slow as possible, really trying to fake out Cloud9 in all opportunities if they can, just by running down that timer. But now the time gets low enough to where they need to start making some progress on the site, but Cloud9 as well have a lot of utility to toss back in their direction. Stewie waiting for a push out over there on towards the platform, and he's going to be obliged, taking down Kenny. Happy did find the first entry for EnVyUS, but again, Stewie peeking out from Chicken Coop. There's another one, and a final one, and just as I was saying he needed to perform, he comes out with a huge 4K, and Cloud9 will make it a 7-8 half.
Hey man, Stewie, well played. Well played. That last couple rounds was phenomenal play, but we're going to see if Cloud9 can continue the comeback or if they're going to stumble right after this short break.
And welcome back once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going directly into the second half now for C9 versus EnVyUS. EnVyUS hold a lead, but it's a bit unstable based on the way things played off there coming off of their T half. Cloud9, though, with the CT side, racking up 7 rounds. They now jump onto the offense, but we have to see what they can do.
Smooth. Camera tours.
Thank you.
Dual elites for NBK. Seen this a few times over the last couple days. To mixed results.
I think it was Davey using one earlier too.
Yeah,
he almost like clutched up around with one. So
NBK also used on Cobblestone against Gambit.
I like it here though, especially for like this heavy drop play, simply because like the massive bullets that you can unload in the air, especially when there's like 3 or 4 players moving down at once, is even if you do go down without getting a kill, you can get so much good damage out that it just makes it worth it in that regard.
You do have quite a hail of gunfire that will be meeting your opponents. EnVyUS on their pistol round originally set up for a B play, but it looks like Cloud9 going to try and sell this fake fist right into the NBK and Happy. And that now makes this a very one-dimensional, toothless attack from Cloud9, and EnVyUS are going to dispatch it with haste. Don't lose a single player. Only 12 health lost from Apex that entire round.
Nicely played there with class from Kenny, as he just stably picks off some headshots there towards the end of it. So EnVyUS keep things going in their favor now as they join into the second half. As for Cloud9, second round of force-up is going to be coming in since they did not find a plant there. They just were utterly dominated by EnVyUS. Didn't even get close to the site.
You can see what they were going for, but as soon as the original charge down drop failed, I think EnVyUS knew exactly what was happening and just wrapped themselves round onto A. I did mention before the difference in the defense. EnVyUS do like to play with NBK in drop, which is where he's currently residing with the FAMAS. Nice shot from Stewie. Puts down Apex. Maybe able to get his hands on the weapon as well, so a decent start. MP9 is going to go into Skadoodle's hands. The issue is elsewhere on the map, it's been pretty one-sided in EnVyUS' favor, so what can Cloud9 do in his 3-on-4?
Kenny moving his way back out there too, over towards Skadoodle, but now NBK picking off another member of Cloud9. Slemmy going down as he tries to make some progress over towards drop. None to be found there. And for Stewie and Skadoodle, they move themselves out to the T-ramp. Stewie's already been found out, however, and they're going to try to close in on him. Can't connect a single bullet there. Skadoodle finds one and a Happy. But that's going to be it. EnVyUS again now with another pickup, leading 10-7 as they grow into double digits.
Cloud9 will have nothing to play with in this round, except maybe P250s, maybe a Tech9 here or there, but ultimately it's going to be an eco. EnVyUS' chance to take a 4-round lead. And 4s, FAMAS's, and P9's the state of play, with a lot of grenades to back it up. This is where Cloud9 are going to start to struggle a little bit, I think, Blue. EnVyUS have seemed pretty solid today.
This is the wall right here, is on that T side to try and bring something to push them over again against EnVyUS. Nothing. Does get a good lineup against Happy to take him down. Apex as well goes for a very wide peek, thinking that maybe Shroud's the only one there, but a nasty surprise waited for him around the corner, and all of a sudden Cloud9 have 2 kills on the board against none from EnVyUS.
Poor play from EnVyUS. Got to say, just giving 2 kills away. Kill on long, maybe a bit unfortunate, but Happy dying made no real sense to me. Now Cloud9 have their mitts on 2 MP9s. Bit of utility, and this is now back on. EnVyUS are going to have to play this very sparse. You can see 3 players spread very thin across the map. Cobblestone, a vast map, takes quite a while to rotate between the sites. So Cloud9 can really start to play the mind games and turn the screw.
Lurch forward here now is nothing. Who is it for some drop control? NBK is going to be waiting around the corner, but nothing is aware of that. Really, though, just trying to play some mind games so that they can push into the A-bomb site. But Kenny is here. He's watching for the long A approach, and he's going to find his first kill against Stewie. That nade as well just destroys Slemmy, brings him down very low. But the problem is that Kenny has been picked off by Skadoodle as he attempts to retreat behind the site there. With just a measly little clock as well. Nothing lining things up. What is that? Nothing. So messy on the spray. Devil is going to take him down, is able to recover. And now NBK and Devil trying to push back in for control of this site. NBK moving back up. He's taking some damage, but that's not really going to matter all that much. Finds another pickup on his Shroud. All these guys from Cloud9 are so low, and there's the dualies again. NBK rounding the corner, finds the first pickup with it, looking for Slemmy as well. Slemmy trying to waste as much time as possible. Come on, go! Take him down! And finally he's done it. It's going to be a full 10-second defuse, however, but I think there will be enough time to be able to pull it off.
Close B's got it, yeah. Definitely got it. You could also see that sigh of relief. Just a deep sigh of relief. Okay, we nearly let a horrible round slip away. Nice play by Cloud9. Although I've got to highlight nothing, him whiffing that MP9 spray was absolutely vital for EnVyUS, because if he gets the kill, the last remaining player that was already on the site was moving from the truck, so we'd have had another player behind him and couldn't focus his entire attacks onto the site and also wooden panels. That was probably the moment where Cloud9 lost the round. Take nothing away from EnVyUS, nice retake, but C9 did get a bunch of kills in there as well.
There you go. That's how you do it, Stewie.
Yep.
The run boost from Kenny shuts out Shroud. And now the guys from EnVyUS are looking better here, getting the advantage at the beginning. And that's going to cause a slowdown from C9 too. They always hesitate when they lose down 5v4.
See, Stewie's boost was just a cheap knockoff, which I know a few things about, you know, budget Anders and all that. So, rip. That's how you do it, yeah. Kenny has done this time and time again. Stewie and Cloud9 clearly have seen that.
So we take a look at EnVyUS here. No reason to hesitate as yet. No reason to shift away from their current positions here. And for Stewie inside, Skadoodle is going to be taken down first by Apex. He does take quite a bit of damage, but now as well, he's actually going to be blind. So Stewie catches the trade as he pushes his way back out. Happy is around the corner, but won't be in a good enough position to actually be able to do too much about that. And as these guys push their way back over towards the B-bomb site, now who will be tested on this site, it's going to be NBK and Kenny.
We've already seen Kenny land one shot this round. Let's see if he can rinse and repeat. It's going to be a drop-centric push. All three players here. I've got to say that EnVyUS are in really good spots. They've got a good crossfire down multiple angles, but the entry frag still goes the way of Cloud9. Kenny needs to land this shot. He's missed two of them. 20 seconds to go, and finally EnVyUS get a grasp of the round. But that was looking far too shaky for far too long. However, 5-round lead.
And now for EnVyUS, things just continue to grow more and more into their favor there. It's still a little bit shaky in certain scenarios, but I mean, overall, no, now they've got full control of the entire map. The economy of Cloud9 is down in the dumps. Just looking at Tech 9s and P250s for this one, rounding themselves out just around the 2K mark, so they can buy up on round number 21. So for this one, I don't expect all that much from C9. It's not even really going to be as direct of a play. They smoke things off of her drop. They want to take early control here, but there's no one inside of it, so they're not going to find anything. And that flashbang is perfect, so NBK just walks right in, rips them to shreds. There you go. Round's over now. No way there's a 2-on-5 recovery.
That's it, yeah. That's NBK effectively slamming the door in the face of Cloud9. Stewie tries his best to open it again, but it's just too heavy. Apex cleaning it up, and this is kind of what I was alluding to before when I said it may just be a little bit too hard for Cloud9 when it was 11-7, I think. Going through into the second half, it just seemed to bridge too far. Nice spray control from NBK, but it was an eco bash, so we can't necessarily hype it up too much. Mag 7 for Devil, full buy for Cloud9. They've got to make this one work though, Blue, otherwise they're going to be slipping far too far away from this. EnVyUS have certainly got their eyes set on the major now.
EnVyUS may just be in that spot. Most secure now. One of these last gun runs is going to decide how exactly the tone of these next few rounds will go, and possibly how the ending of this match could conclude itself. With EnVyUS now looking great, and Cloud9 flatlining on all of their T-strats. They started off with nothing, going down inside of drop once again. The Molotov will fade quickly enough, but NBK sitting here 100% focused on stopping anybody that tries to push out of this room.
You see the difference as well, and EnVyUS taking more initiative off B platform, smoking it off, and then getting a player behind the box. We never really saw Cloud9 do that, as opposed to maybe one round. And then you obviously have the Stewie boost as well. So this now keeps Cloud9 in two minds. They can't even take B platform for granted, because for all they know, it's Kenny S that's boosted up there, and he's just going to rip them to shreds as soon as they push. So it's these small things that don't seem to be that important, which really do stack up at the top level of CS. And now MBK be holding the off angle, goes in for the peak, but Stewie 2K's there. And now this is a great chance for Cloud9. They've got to take it, they've got to convert this.
Stewie, now again, still staying though inside of the drop room. They're not moving out just as of yet. They're still just sitting here, waiting the timer down, waiting for EnVyUS to make a mistake. And in the meantime, all they've done is they've allowed EnVyUS to move back in and take even more control of the site back from themselves. Cloud9, where are they? Why are they not moving out into the site as of yet? Finally, with 20 seconds left, they're going to move in, but Devil is here. Stewie picking up another frag. Look at Devil trying to sneak his way in here. Stewie's been taken down by Happy, but Devil's not going to be able to get anywhere with this one. Happy, though, back into the frags, takes down nothing, but Apex overexposes and Slemmy takes it down. So it does work out after all. But indeed, it was looking like it would come down to the wire with them not moving in until about 20 seconds were left.
Good work, C9. Patience is a virtue. Now, two players in drop for quite a while, didn't decide to push out aggressively or prematurely. They waited for EnVyUS to get a bit too and seen in doing so punish them. And now the force buy, or at least half buy, is in for EnVyUS. Originally thought it was a force because of MBK's Mag 7, but he's just equalizing the economy somewhat. This is a chance for Cloud9. There's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Or is there?
Shroud picking up the first 2 kills there. The guys from EnVy try to play this much more aggressively, but walking into a wall. And that wall's name is Shroud. For NBK here too. Not getting any action towards drop just as of yet. Cloud9, despite these 2 opening kills, not too keen on going into the site just yet. Still holding back and to take things slowly. And Slemmy has moved out towards the middle to try and investigate things towards the mid as well, making sure there's no flank being lined up there.
This good flash allows Devil to try and resume the mayhem, the carnage on B long. Problem is, it's just 5-7, so there's only a limited amount that he can get done with that, realistically. Cloud9 again playing patiently. They are stacking all their players in the same location without anybody watching the back. Now, obviously that's not going to hurt them in this round, but maybe that's something to watch out for in the future if EnVyUS start to try and get a bit aggressive behind them. Happy may very well be the man to do just that. But meanwhile, it's Devil who's holding with the 5-7 for a few more seconds, then I'm sure Cloud9 will be comfortable with an even trade out, but now Cloud9 will just turn the screws and put down EnVyUS, and will be claiming their 9th round.
They'll be walking away with this one here. NBK knows he can't do anything since there's nothing thrown in his direction from drop, and he doesn't even really have another pistol to try and work with here, only the shotgun. So he'll hang out outside in the site connector for a few moments here, banking on the fact that maybe he can get 1 or 2 players to move in to catch him on the chase. But now, though, it doesn't look like that will be obliged too much, as everybody from Cloud9 backing up out through the platform approach. So all should be able to make it out of this round alive. And NBK saving the shotgun. It's not going to be too big of a deal for those guys.
Yep, all things considered, could have gone a whole lot worse for Cloud9. EnVyUS will keep the Mag 7. It does allow them to get a bit of a better buy up, as Apex is on 3.5k, got 4.3 for MBK, who of course just saved his Mag 7. So double Mag 7's picked up. 3 assault rifles, plenty of grenades. They do sacrifice a bit of firepower for the trade-off for more nades, but they'll be happy enough with that. Cloud9 have Stewie 2K, who started really slow, now on 23 kills, so he's been performing very well.
And so they press forward, again, into the default, the same exact play that we've been seeing a lot from these guys so far. You'll note the interesting position being taken up again with the double auto-shotting now coming into the mix. You've got Apex just close at the edge of long A there. I don't imagine they're going to be able to see too much with that, as Cloud9 seem pretty set on going for these B heads. But the option is open, of course, with Slemmy sort of being the guardian of the bomb outside there in mid. We are picking that up and taking it in depending on how these initial push attempts do go. If they fail, though, to try to get drop control, since there is a much more active attempt at holding it from NBK, then they may just call it off and go for an A hit instead.
We also didn't see any boost from Cloud9 in drop zone. So another little change between the teams, but NBK is known for doing this. Pop flashing out, no one's home for Cloud9, although nothing has dropped down now. So relocating will be NBK, looking into the window instead. I mentioned before, Stu's been playing incredibly well. A lot of those 23 kills have been impact frags. So it only paints half the picture. Nothing caught in 2 minds, whether he wants to smoke or flash his way to potential success, but he is going to be the interference maker. He is going to be the decoy. As the rest of Cloud9 starting to push their way in, and the boost from Apex shuts down Slemmy. The rest of Cloud9 now charging their way up mid. They know that Slemmy typically isn't going to be the lurker, so they can pretty much guarantee it's going to be the A play, but that's only half the issue, because Stewie is going to land the headshot from downtown with the flash accompanying it. 2nd kill for him, and then meanwhile NBK is going to assist onto nothing as Happy pulls the trigger. 13-9, EnVyUS are in position to try and retake, but this is going to be rough.
Skadoodle, Stewie, and Shroud holding good positions, and there's Skadoodle already picking up 1 of the 2 kills, and well, with that, Happy just gives up entirely. No reason to try and find a way back inside. Always so hard to retake from that position when you're still stuck behind the big wall behind the main doors. So with such limited angles to work with, unless you could go for like the monster flank, but that takes so much time to wrap around anyway, they're just going to have to give it up. And again, Happy will be looking to save the AK, which he's scavenged. Not a whole lot of money left, though, for these guys to work with, so that still may end up being the only significant thing they bring into the next round, as they're only going to have a 3rd losing bonus.
So the plot thickens here, Blue. EnVyUS have the lead. Their economy has been shaking, it's been wobbling, and they have not been able to stabilize just yet. Cloud9 on the brink of being right back to even again, as you can see now on your screens. EnVyUS decide to go for a bit of an investment into this round with pistols and Kevlar. They got the AK from Happy.
You can see how aggressive, again, the guys from EnVyUS are being out from the A-bomb site. They've gone for the stack here. Cloud9, I believe, tried this once before on their first half too, and it didn't really end up working out so well, considering the play went towards B and NBK. NBK takes a huge risk, but he's the only player here. It's very ballsy. It could just lead to outright disaster if he doesn't find anything.
It's also what Shroud did against them when he landed that one tap with a Deeg onto Kenny S. Very similar, very reminiscent play. So trying to return the favor. As you say, it is definitely a big risk. So you get caught there, well, B's suddenly looking very appetizing for Cloud9.
And in all honesty, B is still kind of wide open here, with it being just NBK. Cloud9 just needs to go for it here, but keep in mind, they're not going to have as much intel as we can see here. No one's really gone back over towards mid to investigate anything as of yet. You can see that now as Slemmy moving his way over there towards the edge of long A, so he's making himself into a mini battle if he pushes forward here. But NBK trying to hold. They spotted him here, and NBK going to get the message out as well. But with Slemmy still in the presence, I think the guys from EnVyUS over there are going to stick around at least until they can pick up that kill, which they've just done. Kenny takes down Slemmy over towards long A, and on the site itself, NBK trying to hold up, but then looks the wrong way. Thinks there's drop pressure coming. Wrong about that one. Stewie's going to take him down, but EnVyUS very quickly pushing their way back into the site. Apex, though, doesn't spot Shroud because he flashes himself. And with this and nothing, picking up 2 kills again. The odds have been eliminated, and for Kenny and Happy, it might just be worth it to get out of here, and that's exactly what they're doing. Kenny's going to boost his teammate back up to the halls. I believe Kenny's making a run for it.
It's smart. Doubles their opportunities to save the weapons if they're in different directions. Going to get charged down from all 4 Cloud9 members, but great round from Cloud9, all things considered. It did look a little bit sketchy when Kenny S connected the CZ shot and took the AK away from them, but after that it was all one-way traffic. Cloud9 cruising down the highway and will be reaching the destination of 11 rounds in just a few moments' time. The question is, how many weapons will they take on that journey with them? And the answer is potentially none if Happy has his way. Kills are being exchanged, and both remaining members are low off Cloud9, or at least Skadoodle. But they are going to manage to get the kill, and they have enough funds to replenish those weapons, no problem.
Yeah, as you said there, the money that Cloud9 still have left in the bank is still going to be the big issue there. 9.7k on Skadoodle, 8.5k on Shroud, and 5.4 on Stewie in the post-buy. The other two are a little bit lower off, but those 3 alone should make up for quite a few of these last couple of rounds with them being on the T side. Even if EnVyUS do start stacking them up again, they will lose through the losing bonus. But as we get into this next round here, Smoke is going to come out from Shroud. That actually helps Devil out a little bit if he wants to get up onto this area, but now taking a big amount of spray from Shroud. Got to be careful about that. Only 23 HP to work with.
Uh-oh. Oh. Okay. He's all right.
Safely below the wall.
I worried for Devil's life just for a couple of seconds.
Now, if that killed him, I would have been angry, because that was nowhere even close to him.
That would have been just CS Nade things.
Yeah.
Here's another boost from EnVyUS. NBK with his Mag 7, he is so potent in these kind of situations. Cloud9's way of counteracting this previously has been to throw a Molotov in there and force them to retreat. They have 2 mollies still in their hands, so it wouldn't surprise me if we saw one of them tossed out if they are going to aggress onto the B side, just to make sure they can get control of drop as well. Because if you all push out of B platform, that is a recipe, that's a cocktail for disaster. But accompanying them is the flashbang and the molly as well. But what can Devil do behind the statue? He's going to get completely wrecked from Stewie 2K. Has 0 impact in this round. Stewie, meanwhile, throws down the smoke. He's able to use this to try and navigate his way round the back of the CTs and cause as much mayhem as possible. The bomb's been planted in the smoke, and now it's a 5-on-3 retake, but they're already on the site. They're already committed to this one. Happy's going to go big with a kill, but now he's all that remains in a 1 versus 3. He's still using that smoke to his advantage. Lands the shot onto Slammy. The remaining 2 players are up on the platform. Can he do this? This would be a ridiculous clutch, and they're pushing him 1 by 1. The problem is he had no smokes, no flashes, nothing to deter the terrorists, and Cloud9 are now just 1 round behind.
EnVyUS looks so confused on that retake. Like, they just throw themselves into the fray, and you can see looking on their player cameras, they're looking every which way to try to find any piece of intel, but there's nothing coming at them, and they're just pulling at whatever they can grasp, essentially. Cloud9, though, They move in and they take good control. Stewie again opening the way for Cloud9, finding those big entry kills. And is currently leading the team by a pretty big margin, 27.
Yeah, with 5 assists or involved in more than 30 kills. That's not too shabby. It's a lot of impact on the game. EnVyUS not going to pull the trigger on a force. Instead, it's another half. We thought this map might be close. And it's definitely lived up to that so far.
And for EnVyUS here, still holding most of their defenses towards the B-bomb site. Cloud9. Here's the other thing too, at least like from my perspective of this, with how slowly Cloud9 are playing their T side, I imagine that like for EnVyUS, that's like sort of a thing that itches them a little bit here. And
yeah.
Cloud9 always go for such late executes. They run down the timer so low, and then all of a sudden, once EnVyUS like just sort of is in there, like, come on, when's the tank gonna come? And then they just explode out onto the site all of a sudden. And most of the time, the initial defenders from EnVyUS aren't doing too good of a job of picking up a kill or two.
Well, the way to counteract that is from a CT's point of view, especially in rounds where you are on pistols, is to just try and push up somewhere and get information. So that you can then know where the execute's going to come and you can therefore set up accordingly, which they have just been totally unprepared to do. We've seen a couple boosts, but that's about it. We haven't seen anyone really try and push around the back of them. This is a beautiful flashbang. Is he going to get the reward? Yes, he is. Shroud goes down. Apex needs to be careful because he's about to get flashed himself as he pushes out a mid. No one's looking though from Cloud9, so he's just going to dart back. Get himself to free AK-47. Yes, the bomb's going to go down, but now this adds an extra element to round 26.
I don't know if they're expecting Apex. Look, oh, nice recovery from Stewie, though. He gets him on top of Shed, takes down Apex, and all of a sudden the 4 left alive here. There's going to be a good pop collection. Joe gets them some ground to work with. NBK finding one. Stewie trading it back out, but he didn't realize Kenny was so close to the broken wall here on A site. Moving in, Kenny grabbing another one into nothing. It's all in Slemmy's hands now, picking up one, but that's all he's going to get.
That's unreal.
EnVyUS, when they were 1 round away from losing this lead, they bring it back.
The dominoes that had to line up for EnVyUS to win that round. Apex gets the kill. He doesn't get any more after that, but he drew out 2 players to look down on the headshot wall and try and filter him out. In doing so, they allow 2 players to come out of balcony and flash it, and MBK gets a kill, and then I think it's a 5-7 from Kenny S also gets the kill. So if one of these plays goes slightly awry, if Apex doesn't get the frag in mid, that round comfortably goes away with Cloud9. As it stands though, EnVyUS now, out of nowhere, are looking really strong again.
So we'll see if they can keep that going, of course, because they did allow Cloud9 to build up a pretty dangerous bank. Molotov's being... Oh, come on. I think they're actually going to have to cancel that run boost because of those flashbangs, as it does make them feel like the play is going to be coming in. So we won't be seeing it this time around. But there we go. Now it's been lined up. They know it's safe, but they're just going to boost the player up on top of the tree boost position instead. Just to play it safe. In the event Cloud9 did take up positions, and they'd be able to pick him off there by this point in time.
Times like this that Cloud9 need to just dust off the cobwebs of that last round, not let it get to them too much. We know they've got a lot of tenacity and grit, is something we mentioned earlier, even when they're behind, and exactly what's seen them even get back to this situation in the first place. They're still up against it. They're still gasping for air. EnVyUS trying to drown them. Nothing again. We've seen him in this position a couple of times and not do a great deal with it, so maybe Isturi flashes him in, he can try and push on to the left-hand side of drop, but there would be 2 CTs waiting for him if that was the case. Everything hinges on nothing, I've got to say here. If he comes out and gets a kill, this round's on.
Him and Stewie lead it though. Devil, they're not even going to check the transition, removes in. Devil grabs both of them. Stewie and nothing go down. Slemmy though is finding 2 kills, so he's traded it, but then NBK finding the 3rd for the CTs. They move out on a platform. It's Skadoodle and Shroud as the last 2 alive, but they're just going to line right up for Happy, and he closes out both of those kills. EnVyUS are 1 round away from re-earning that spot at the Major, which they lost in devastating fashion back at Columbus.
Take nothing away from Devil, he has no right to get 2 kills from that position. No right at all. And that was a determining factor. Slemmy, his brilliance, got 2 kills as a result of that, but the damage was already done. It turned into being just a straight-up B-plat rush. And against EnVyUS, your days are numbered if that's what you're turning back to. Cloud9 still have the funds to make a real go of this. They still could take us to overtime. It's not impossible.
The run boost from Kenny, though, he's already spotted Skadoodle. He knows he's back in the corner there somewhere, but Skadoodle's smart. He doesn't want to stick around, otherwise he's going to be trapped. So he uses the flashbang to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, Kenny, again, hasn't been setting the world on fire. He's 16 for 16, but you can't afford to take risks, especially at this stage of the game. Skadoodle must know that he is a big part of the puzzle. if Cloud9 want to come back into this. He's 20 for 14 at this point.
It's not anywhere near as impressive as we saw him playing yesterday, though, and that is ultimately the problem. Is it's not this highlight play from Cbble. Nothing, though, in drop. Fails to pick up the first kill. NBK is going to drop him. And now, again, EnVyUS still holds strong. Cloud9 starting to shift their players over towards the B-bomb site to get ready for what could be their last attempt at a take. And Stewie coming in on a flank, though. Nobody's really looking out towards long A, so he could get a lot for free right here if he plays this properly.
A bit perplexed as to why Nothing would push by himself when the rest of his team are only a matter of seconds away. Why not wait and push all together? 30 seconds now, and it's going to be another B-plat push. But look at this. Because they pushed Apex round the back, they know it's a B hit, and they're going to stack it accordingly. This is going to be a slaughter for Cloud9. Surely they can't get out onto the site, and Apex, who's managed to get himself all the way around the back, is rewarded with 2 kills, and Cloud9 are going to be swept aside from EnVyUS, barring a huge play from Stewie, and it's not going to come in. EnVyUS take it 16-12.
And with that, they're back in the major at Cologne, getting another chance to re-earn their spot at the top where they were previously, but so devastatingly went down. And for Cloud9, well, they're not out of the running just yet. They're not going to get to earn it in a good fashion against their previous adversaries from probably their best period, which was the summer of last year.
Well, they definitely didn't look the EnVyUS of old. They didn't have the most solid performances, but they got there, and that's the important thing. They can iron over a lot of these cracks. They can go back to the drawing board and figure out what's been going wrong for them in the time until the major. This is what they came for, and this is what they've got. Congratulations to EnVyUS, but Cloud9 aren't out. They still have another chance. They still have an opportunity to qualify for the major. That means they're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
And they are indeed going to need to play at least one more match here to try and earn that spot against what could be quite a few different opponents that we'll have to wait and see a little bit later on today. For EnVyUS, though, owing a lot in this event specifically to Apex and his good performance over the past couple of... I don't believe it was as prominent here in this map, but to get them to this point and to keep them in the event this far, definitely want to be giving him quite a bit of credit. And an interesting development, too, of course, that we saw here was Cbble taking over the leadership. An interesting move that actually, to a certain degree, somewhat equates to what Cloud9 have done with Slemmy, bringing in a newer player, seeing what he can do with the leadership, and letting the kind of old dogs that are used to being capable fraggers take that role.
And let's face it, also the players that you'd say are more talented and more individually skilled. Right, allow them to just focus on what they do, and that's kill people. Anyway, that's enough from us, Blue. We're going to head down to the stage, and Mitch has an interview lined up with one of the EnVyUS members.
Thank you very much. You've been able to pluck Apex from a celebrating EnVyUS squad here, as well as they just start to realize that they will be back at yet another major. Apex, good to have you here. I did actually want to ask you specifically about how you guys played on that CT side, because Cloud9 played really slow. They play really slow towards that B-bomb side, often mid to late round pushes. And you guys are a team known for your pace. You get in people's faces, you take battles and you win them. So is it strange playing up against that kind of style from Cloud9, or are you just kind of used to it, or are you comfortable with it?
Well, we used to play against teams who are playing slow on Cbble. Almost every team are playing really slow on Cbble, so we just knew how to adapt to them, and yeah, we played pretty well on CT side. Absolutely.
Now, you guys obviously, a couple times over the course of this tournament, we've seen you might sort of lose a gun round and then buy into 4 MAC-10s or some sort of variation of that. Everyone's going, what are they doing? Because sometimes we see it work out brilliantly, sometimes not so great. Normally you can buy back after that, but tell us a little bit of your take on that one personally and why it works for you guys.
Well, it's typically it's a typical round. It's when people doesn't have Kevlar with headset, and then it's with the MAC-10 you can run and shoot at the same time, and it's really easy to shoot with this. So that's why we're doing this, and yeah, it's cool strategy. It's EnVyUS strategy, you know.
I was gonna say, it's such a you strategy because you just love to run and gun and get in people's faces, right? It's great to see such a characteristic approach. Now let's talk about the future and, of course, the last few months. It hasn't been an easy one for you guys. You've been questioned. You probably questioned yourselves at some point. But how are you relieved to know that you're going to be back at another major yet again to represent your country?
Well, it's really cool, mainly because, except against Gambit, we played pretty good tournament. We just changed in-game leader like 3 days before the major qualifier because we had some struggle with the team. And now, yeah, we're more comfortable. We're not at our best, at our peak, but we feel better, and hopefully we're gonna come back for the best major in Cologne.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. EnVyUS are going to the major, and they're looking pretty darn good at that. Thank you so much for joining me, Apex. I'll hopefully see you around, and there it is. Now, for Cloud9 fans, all hope is not lost. They still have one more chance to fight through and make it to the major. It is still possible. But that was a game and a half. We saw EnVyUS now show us a little bit more of what they've been cooking up. But let's see what our experts have cooked up on the desk.
Thanks very much, Mitch. I don't know how much cooking's gone on. We did just have dinner, though, and that was lovely.
Yep.
So we've got a little bit more energy for this next discussion. So 4 spots of the 8 available in this qualifier are now locked up. The French side taking the 4th. We have FaZe, Mouse, Optic, and now Envy. That's our 4 to the major, and of course another 4 spots lying in wait. We're talking about the next game in just a moment, but first let's have a little look back at that Cobblestone. That might have been the best T-side performance from Cloud9 that we have seen at this event.
Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. It was about 9-13, and they built back. They went on quite a nice run of things. The irony being they actually got broken by what was a stack in the end. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was a stack towards B from Envy. And actually, Cloud9 played it well on the T side. They pushed through, got the bomb plant pretty well set, and then the retake came out from Envy, even though down to pistols, I think maybe a Mag 7 for MBK, but it was a very light investment. And then they lost it. Some of those fundamentals where you kind of expect the team play to kick in, the communication to stay really crisp, didn't seem to happen. And Envy, I was sat out here, I was watching the game go down, and I've never heard Envy that pumped up at these sort of events. Normally they are the most kind of withdrawn, chilled out, just kind of, you know, taking it as it is. We just shoot people, blah, blah, very easy for us, right? Yeah. No, they were incredibly invested into that game. So that was really quite scary to see if Envy are getting back to that form.
Rare to see that hunger from EnVyUS. Yeah. It hasn't been necessary in the past. They've just managed to get by on that individual skill and that strategy. But now, as I said, changing a leader 3 days before an event, and they managed to get themselves the spot in the major all the same.
Yeah, no, definitely an impressive feat, and I think Apex put it nicely. You know, for the better part of it, it was a pretty good tournament on their end. Yeah. They definitely show that they're trusting Devil a lot more, and I think Devil himself just played a lot better. It seems like when he's given more responsibility, he actually thrives in that kind of position. He didn't have the greatest of games now on Cobble, especially on the CT side, had a bit of a struggles, but luckily, you know, you have pretty good teammates to help you out in that kind of a situation. Yeah. I think if you want to go to the T side, MBK deserves special recognition for what he was able to do, opening up sites for MB time and time again, which is normally what Apex does for them. But MBK was just in full fire on that T side and helped them greatly. And CT side, Happy comes along and is just doing a masterful job of shutting down Cloud9 for the better part of it.
And even outside of just, you know, that stopping power, actually MBK and Devil had a wonderful kind of combination that came together by drop. Nothing had such a struggle, and even I think there was actually 2 players who walked straight past Devil in that drop room, allowed, you know, a chance back in for EnVyUS, and a couple of mistakes there for Cloud9 really cost them a good couple of rounds, and you could see that just really building against them. Their faces looked so sullen after some of those losses. But yeah, credit to Envy. They've come back in and they're starting to look like they're actually rebuilding a team, because there were so many whispers of this team looks like, is it on the edge? Is it gone too far? So nice to see them consolidating things here.
Let's not forget Cloud9 are not out of this yet. They joined the rather stacked pool. In fact, I have it in front of me. Let me make sure I get this right. Okay, Tyloo, Dignitas, Flipside, Hellraisers, Cloud9. That's a lot of scary teams, and they're all going to be battling another game today. We're going to be rejigging the pool and doing those seeds in just a moment. We've got one more game before we can do just that, though. We have to see how G2 and Gambit does go down. That'll be our final winners match, and another slot will be taken by either the Samurai of G2 or Gambit, who already impressed us here in the ESL Arena at Katowice. So we're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, though, it will be a battle between the 2 Gs, G2 and Gambit, after this.